I can hear you chewing.
Hey, I'm eating kisses. What a great way to start the show.
What a great way to start the show. Hold on a second. I just got to make sure. Did I just hit live? Of course I hit live.
You did hit live.
All right. There's a couple of new buttons on StreamYard, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, what?
It was on Thursday. Might as well say it.
Yeah. Welcome everybody to. I am not prepared for this. There you go. Hey,
Okay.
everybody.
Hi, you need a hug?
What's happening? Yeah, always. Welcome everybody in the chat to the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast, live edition. We call it ScarifLive. Oh, Shanti's got some kisses. I got a beer. Let's go through the chat, Shanti. Who's in there?
I don't know. I'm on my phone.
You know, there's certain people that whose names that I love saying. Ubaldo is one.
Yes.
What's up, Ubaldo?
That's our buddy. Megan's in the house.
Megan's in the house. She was the first. Thank you very much, Megan, for showing up. Nicole. You got Sith Care Bear, Lunar Girl, our Blue Wrench Girl.
Yeah.
Tina. Yeah. Tina's in the house. Excellent. All right. So we are going to be talking about Andor and the season finale. Excellent stuff. We got a couple of surprises. We have a full house, and we will start this show right after this. Hold, wait a minute. Is that Brad?
What?
What the?
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Holy moly, the chat just went crazy. Everybody,
All three of them.
It's Brad is back. Thank you. Brad, welcome back to your home, the Scarif Scuttlebutt.
Andor is amazing. If you don't like it, you're an idiot. Okay, I got that out of the way.
Got that out of the way.
Poor Josh.
Excellent. Look at everybody saying that you missed. Everybody missed Brad. We sure did.
Miss you guys. Miss you guys. It's amazing to be back.
I'm glad you could come for this final review.
Yes.
Season.
Yeah, definitely.
I missed some turkey on Thursday, but I'm here for this, and that's what counts.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody in the chat. We got really excited. And some more surprises. We got Josh. And I think the very first time I was telling Brad, the very first time we did a Scarif Live on Andor, Brad, you weren't too crazy about the show. You were hemming and hawing. But I said, you know, at the final show, come on back, and then we'll see if you haven't changed your mind or any other insight that you can offer us about it. And then we also have Tina. You're probably the president, not just a member of the Bricks and Screws fan clubs. What's up, Tina?
Hey, what's up? Just causing some trouble as always.
Excellent, excellent. I guess we'll have to talk about the opinion about screws and bricks.
I just want to let you know, I just got off an aircraft carrier, and there are a number of screws on an aircraft carrier.
Okay.
So it's very hard to hold a ship together without screws. Just putting that out.
And bolts, right?
And bolts.
And rivets. Like we don't weld in Star Wars either.
When I walked off the ship, I saw many a building with bricks in them. So
in Star Wars, you're insane.
Well, remember, in The Empire Strikes Back, Yoda says that everything is bound together by the Force. So he might have a
Force
point
welding.
There.
Yeah.
Force welding. Welcome everybody to the finale, the final show here on Scarif Live. We're going to be talking about Rick's Road. From Andor. Brad, you just got caught up, and obviously the rest of us have been watching this show from the beginning. And I want to thank all of our our listeners and our followers, the folks that have showed up in the chat, religiously, relentlessly on Saturday nights. It has been quite a treat. Anybody have any announcements before we start our discussion?
Well, I want to do some show and tell.
Oh, show and tell. I like
some
that.
show and tell. So we made a couple port calls while I was out to sea. We pulled into Halifax, Nova Scotia, which, if you haven't been there, it's really nice. And everybody up there is really nice. I don't understand it. Like, I was actually confused, and I asked them, why the hell are they so nice? It was something about universal health care, free, or weeds legal, and all that kind of shit. Wow. Anyway, while we were up there, the 3 days we were up there, there was a comic book convention in town at the exact same time, which was amazing. I got a bunch of stuff, but I thought it was appropriate for this evening.
Ooh.
I got this awesome
nice
Rogue One
very
poster.
Nice.
That is nice.
That was from here we go. It was HalCon. That was what we went to. Apparently their biggest, everybody was in cosplay. There was some awesome Star Wars cosplay there. It was really fantastic. And then we pulled into just a few days ago, 10 days ago, pulled into Portsmouth, England, which is about an hour or so from London. And there's a badass store. I think I posted, no, I can't remember if I posted a picture of this or not. But this was in the window of the shop, and I had to get this.
Oh, nice.
I saw that. You posted that on Facebook.
Yeah.
I saw that. And it was awesome.
They're playing poker.
Oh, yeah.
And it's heavy too. It's not like some little cheap statue.
Is it plastic or ceramic?
It's ceramic.
Oh, nice.
And it's freaking gorgeous. So there are blasters on the table, and they're just playing cards. Someone said, actually, it may have been Tina. Somebody said it may have been cool if they were playing sabacc. That would be cool, but I'll take the poker as it is. That's a really cool.
Good.
Very
statue.
nice.
Awesome.
So, want to bring my show and tell.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm not going to ask Josh about show and tell because show might get inappropriate. But anybody else? There you go.
Sorry.
I got nothing.
I have two. One was just a last minute splurge, and this one I just received. I actually have the camera on top.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Sonic.
Very nice.
Ooh.
Very nice. Is that an actual Lego, or is that
It's Lego.
a Lego imitation?
No, it's Lego.
Show me the logo.
Right there, bitch.
And there it is.
And then,
Very
wait,
nice.
wait.
Bro, you got any Ewoks or anything to show off that you might have in your inventory?
Let's see, what's that? Oh, Scout Trooper.
Nice.
Very nice.
Ooh.
Very nice.
Very nice.
It's like we're a bunch of nerds or something.
Yeah.
Shanti
Wow,
wanted a
imagine
little
all
head.
that.
Oh,
Are on the way, but those came from the Lego website. These came from Amazon.
very nice. So was it it was the second, when did you leave? The third episode of our series?
I was able to catch, the first two came out together,
Yeah.
Right.
and then there was one more. I think I left after that third show came out.
And how long have you been away?
2 months.
And it takes me 2 months to procrastinate to send you this damn Ewok that I promised you 2.5 months ago on our
Again, it's the thought
one
that
of our
counts for
shows.
us.
I
I know he's in good hands.
I got some other stuff coming towards you, but
Beats the trash compactor my other wicked is in.
and we are wearing our Conversations medals from
Nice.
ScarifCon. Thank you, Pat and Charles. Beautiful.
Yes, thank you for
beautiful things.
those.
No one gave me the memo.
You're Chewbacca.
Yeah, Chewbacca. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
You'll get 135 years later. Don't worry.
What? I'm out of here.
At MTV. Megan, that's right. I am really the procrastinator. I got a box for Nick, and I got a box for Lunar Girl and Dragon Buddy sitting right here. Maybe on Tuesday I'll send those off. And I know they're in the chat too. So expect some treats coming your way. What was that?
What?
What?
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
All right. Good show, everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wrap it up.
great.
Bye.
Comedy. No, comedy is all about timing.
Some of us got some stuff to do.
So let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about Andor and the season finale called Rick's Road. Because Brad is back, I know you've been catching up little by little as you visit the various ports, and I know you did a binge right in the middle of the series, didn't you?
Yes, I did 2 binges.
So I want to ask you, what have you been thinking about the episodes as you've been watching it? What do you think of the series as a whole? Give us the 411 on that.
First of all, yeah, I like all joking aside, I freaking love this series. I know, Roy, you emailed me a few times. People are saying this is not Star Wars. And I think I understand the argument. And I guess we can delve into this a little bit more in detail later, but this is not the movies are full of idealism, right? They're all about these huge ideals. Well, in war, it's kind of hard to have these ideals. And this is the uglier side of war. I mean, we knew the Empire was bad, right? You from the get-go, the Empire is bad. But this showed you just how bad the Empire was. I mean, we're talking, those were concentration camps, for lack of better words, that they were in. I mean, so if you didn't know how bad the Empire was, you do now. And it just shows you the sacrifice that the rebels, the early rebels, made to topple the Empire, and what had to go. I mean, the decisions that Mon Mothma had to make in this series. Holy cow. That's real shit. So his story progression, Mon Mothma's story progression, I thought it was all amazing. And then watching this season finale today, when I wasn't sure where I knew the proverbial shit was going to hit the fan eventually. I didn't know when that was going to happen. I kept looking at the time, seeing how much time was left. But then when Marva started speaking, and I got goosebumps now just saying it. When her speech there, I mean, that is top notch. That's beautiful writing, and it looked amazing. It couldn't have ended better. And it just leaves you wanting, unlike like a lot of the projects they've had lately where you didn't want anymore. Please make the sequel trilogy stop. Like I wanted a second season as soon as I got done watching this one. So that's what we're going for. So I thought it was amazing.
That's one of the things that I found interesting in the show. And obviously we're going into a show where we know where the main character ends up. Obviously I'm wearing the Rogue One shirt. We know what happens, but at the end of each show, I was still like in suspense. I wanted to continue the story. I wanted to find out, like, oh my God, what happens next? And not just to Andor, not just to Cassian. I mean, I think so much of the other side characters and some of the other main characters are written so well, and the acting has been so phenomenal that you're just intrigued. You're drawn in to the show specifically, and
except for Cyril, that dude's a creeper.
I love that character. I'm sorry.
I love to hate him. I do. I love to hate him.
He's the Revo, the Revo of the show, but that's okay.
Yeah, he's a little creepy. Shanti, what did you think of the last episode?
I loved it, but hated that it was over.
Yeah, that's the and we're gonna have to wait a long time. Supposedly it's 2 years, but
2 years.
Yeah.
Kidding me? God, Lord.
But what were some of your high points of the last episode?
Well, definitely same thing. Marva's speech. I mean, Fiona Shaw just like, and I just recently watched V for Vendetta, and that's almost kind of like what it reminded me of just, we got to stand up and starting this uprising. And it was just such an amazing moment. However, the finale did have, and I'm sure we'll get to it later, but I will say it only had one disappointment for me of the entire series, which was actually the mid-credit scene. really didn't care for it. But other than that, nah, I have no complaints.
Yeah, and obviously spoilers if you haven't seen it. If you we're going to tell you what that mid-credit scene is. Oh, and Brad almost missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, he texted me, he goes, "Oh, I love the show." I'm like, "Did you get to the end credits?" He goes, "No, what happens?" I'm like, "Dude, re-rack it." That's TV studio talk, Brad.
I figured as much. It was either that or a typo. I figured I'd go with it either way.
All right, so let me get to Josh, because obviously, you know, the first episode of ScarifLive during our discussion, we were getting an earful from him. You know, not really into it, but 12 episodes later, I wanted to ask you, Josh, what's going on? Do you like it? Is it still not for you? What are some of your thoughts at the end here?
You sure you don't want Tina to go first? I mean, she's a member of the Bricks and Screws fan club. I mean, she's the president.
She can wait.
I can wait. I'm good. I'll go last.
Okay, I think it is the most well-produced anything Star Wars, television or film. Like, I think it was beautiful start to finish. Every shot was amazing. The dialogue was extremely well written. All the acting was fantastic. But I just don't care. I don't care about Cassian Andor, whatever that means. I just have never cared for the character. I've compared him to Han Solo, and I've never cared for Han Solo, so shoot me. But I guess
I'll shoot first.
We love you,
I
Josh.
guess I hear you, Greedo.
Hey, Josh, real quick before have you? I guess two-part question. Since finishing, I guess you guys were able to finish this a few days ago. Since finishing, have you watched Rogue One again, or if not, do you think your opinion might change if you watched Rogue One again after watching this series?
No, I went and saw Rogue One for the IMAX re-release right before Andor came out, and after watching the series, I had no. Yes, I will.
Comment, not
I'm extra sleepy. No, anyway, but no, I
love DB's comment.
I had no desire to watch Rogue One after that. No. Why? So I can see that they're still trying to put that damn dish on the Death Star 5 years later. I mean, I'm sorry. We'll get to that later.
Have you
but
seen how fast the government builds shit? That's
that's true. They are like 14 years in at this point, and they're still not done.
That's completely realistic, I assure you.
Yeah.
What's Megan talking about? Oh, my love for Deidre.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Time to allow her. Yeah. No, we'll do
That
that.
hot, steamy scene in the closet there they had. I mean, we're going to get to that.
That was hot. Yeah.
I thought she was going to shoot him, actually, because, you know, that would have been great. He saves her, and then she just shoots him.
That would be awesome. That would have been great.
I find myself more interested in the side characters, and even they are starting to bore me at this point, to be honest with you. So, and what Mon Mothma did to Perrin is just unacceptable. So, hashtag justice for Perrin.
Well, I've had a theory about Perrin for a long time, and not just Perrin, but the collaboration between Mon Mothma and Perrin.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's I think as the episodes keep going, I think that to me it's becoming more apparent that he is just putting on an act, and they're doing it together because he's helping her distract the Empire from them finding out that, or trying to figure out that Mon Mothma is moving money for rebellion, and more so for his gambling. So I think they're kind of in cahoots.
It's all about that one scene when they're at the dinner party, and they have that one moment where they have their little toast, and after they kind of have a little bit of snarky remarks back and forth, he says, "Okay, what do you need?" And she's like, "All right, I need Palpatine stalled in the Senate, and I need votes." And he's like, "All right, let's do it." you know, and I think that was a very telling moment. I think that was a brief glimmer, you know, through the curtain as to what's really going on there. But yeah, I've thought from the beginning that there was more to that.
Do you guys feel that there are certain things in the story that are like hinted at? And like you said, Josh, the curtain is not pulled back completely. It gives fans a little bit of ammunition as far as, you know, trying to figure things out behind the scenes. Is he a spy? Is Mon Mothma setting him up? You guys feel like the series should have given us a little more of a definitive answers to those questions, or do you like that we're still talking about it? It's still a mystery. We're not really sure. What do you think? And Tina, I haven't forgotten you, but I just.
I mean, I like it. I like that they've taken their time with the storytelling. I don't mind
Josh, I'm
the
so
pacing
confused
of
with
it.
you right now. What? What?
I
You
hate
like
it,
it.
but
You don't like it. I hate it, but I love the pacing. I love the directing. I love the writing.
I do.
I love the acting.
I enjoy watching it for the most part. I just don't care. It doesn't resonate with me the way that most other Star Wars does.
It's a solo
Does that
movie.
make sense?
It's
I liked Solo. I liked
hell
it.
is
I
wrong with
like
you,
Solo
Josh?
better than Andor.
what the?
Come on, Han and Chewie taking a shower together. That's priceless. No,
Yeah, he's got you there, Brad.
I don't know.
I'm done.
And it has nothing to do with a lack of laser swords and space wizards or any of that. It has nothing to do with bricks and screws. I have no beef with anything about the production on it. And I don't have any beef with Diego Luna other than I think he's a little one note, but that's okay. He plays that note well. But I just don't care about the character. I'm not attracted as much to the gunslinger aspect of Star Wars, I guess. So for me, it just doesn't connect the way that other things about it do. I like the spirituality of Star Wars, and this doesn't really delve into that. I appreciate getting to see the stuff behind the scenes with the Empire, and I love getting to see the gray of the rebellion, and I do think that it's another example of a character kind of being torn down a little bit. The pedestal we may have put Mon Mothma on at one point, she's definitely not on anymore because she is not going to win any awards for Mother of the Year with the things that she's doing with her family right now. But at the same time, it's intriguing, and I'm interested in the storytelling, and I love all of the acting, but I just don't care about Cassian. So
Ro, to your original question, and we kind of talked about this before I left. As far as the pacing goes, this is being paced just like a normal show would, a non-Star Wars show. And for that, I love it because, I wish it didn't take 2 years for another freaking season. But that's the kind of pacing you would want for a normal show where it leaves you probably with more questions than answers to keep you coming back for the next season. And as far as the Mon Mothma cousin comment is, as horrible as it seems, that there's a lot of historical, real life precedent to it. I mean, you're talking about royalties, throughout the ages, deals were made all the time for that. Yeah, sure. So, I mean, there's a lot of precedent for what you did. It doesn't make it any better. I see what you're saying there, but that's not completely.
No, I understand that there's reasoning behind it, and hopefully the ends justify the means, but it's still shitty. So, yeah. Sorry. Stop laughing.
So I posted earlier in the week, obviously we understand that Andor might not be everyone's cup of tea. We've heard all of the critiques regarding pacing, the slowness of the story, the storytelling. But yeah, Josh, I get what you mean. I get what you're talking about. There's certain characters that don't resonate for me in the entire, Star Wars franchise. But let's quickly get to Tina, because I know she had a couple of questions regarding this last episode, and I wanted to get to her as far as what Tina thought of this last episode, and what do you think of the series so far? I know we haven't. I guess we haven't invited you on the show.
No, you haven't. No.
But here you are.
No, I'm good. No, here I am for one of the best episodes. No, I'm good. I'm glad to be here. I have said from the beginning when they announced this show, I didn't give two shits. I didn't. I care, and because he died. Why do I care? Right, and that's really how I looked at it.
Sure.
That's what I thought. But I'm gonna watch it, and then 3 episodes, and I'm like, okay. I'm in. I see what they're going for. I'm in. And I've been in ever since. I don't consider a moment of anything I've seen on screen a wasted moment. I don't consider a line of dialogue, any of it wasted. Any of the character arcs we've seen, none of it wasted. In my opinion, there has been no time wasted in any episode of this show. It has been the ultimate slow burn for me. And I think everything has been top notch. A level of writing in Star Wars we've not seen before. One I hope to see in the future, not necessarily with the same tone, but definitely with the same level of writing, the same level of set design. I probably care more about Cassian than I did. I'm definitely invested in all the side characters.
Yeah.
I love seeing the effect that the common person had to its to the rebellion, being born and the contribution, because I think in the past it's always been centered on the Jedi and Leia being a Skywalker related to Luke, who's a Jedi. We've always seen it framed up that way, which wasn't wrong. I enjoyed it. I love seeing how everyday people like us could have contributed to a rebellion.
Right.
And I think in this episode, it wasn't just Marva's monologue that was, quite frankly, brought me to tears. I love the manifesto being read over some of it as well. Just that, just saying that nothing is too little, you keep pushing. I love it. I have no complaints. I loved everything.
And this begs the age old question, what is Star Wars to you? And it's very personal to everyone.
It is.
I really don't mind this part of the Star Wars galaxy. I think, we have been thrust into, based on the original trilogy, we have been thrust into this story that tells a grand tale of this, family, the Skywalker clan, and we are all invested, and it's heart-wrenching. It's galaxy has, the decisions that these characters make affect the galaxy. But you guys are right. The stories that are happening now in this series really, how does the little guy, how is he or she affected by the rise of the Empire? How do they deal with it? And I think it's an intriguing time for the galaxy.
And it seems like if you're in, you're either in or you're out. You can't be halfway. You got to be in.
Yeah.
We you mentioned the manifesto, and after I binged the first time, I was really sad to see Nemec go, because when that dude talked, he was hands down my favorite. And Josh was talking about side characters. This is one of those. He was hands down my favorite character on the show. Like, that dude was spitting truth, like,
and you can relate it to today's stuff.
Yes,
you can relate
absolutely.
it to what's going on in today's world.
I was very sad to see him go, and you knew the journal was going to come up again later, but I thought it was going to come up a little bit sooner. But I think now, like Tina was saying, I think the timing was perfect on that. So between that journal and Marva's speech, just incredible.
Just the way everything runs parallel, it's all happening at the same time, the way they cut back and forth, the tension building here, the tension building there, just all of that, and then how it just all culminates.
Yeah.
I want to give a quick shout out. You guys may have seen Kevin Crockett in the chat. He is one of my shipmates on the USS Gerald R. Ford. So he just got back with me today. So
Very nice.
yes, so kudos to him. Everybody did an amazing job last couple months there. So thank you to him.
Gee, how cool.
And I have to say, when it comes to Perrin, I'm on the fence. I hate Perrin. I think he's a
Yeah.
dick.
Yeah,
but it's great, right? And so
Yeah.
I'm like, he could be working together. They could not be. I love we could sit here and question it and that we can't say
Yeah.
for sure.
We'll
I love
see.
that.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I can't wait to have some sort of resolution to find out because yeah, I still feel that they're in cahoots, they're working together. Let's get into a little bit of the episode, the storyline here. Last week's episode, we started the episode where we see Marva. Well, we experience the death of her character, but we don't see it. We see it through the eyes of the droid. And Brad, you were talking about how Star Wars has really given us some amazing characters in droid form, so emotional and just heart-wrenching, especially this aspect. You can really tell that the droid was in pain. There's a lot of emotion there. You got to love Star Wars for that, man.
Yeah, and I was amazed they pulled off shots from the droid's point of view,
Yeah.
which, like when the glass was on top of his head and stuff like that. Like, I think his name is B2 Emo, which is kind of funny because of how depressed he is all the time.
Yeah.
That
He's
was
been
a
through
little
some
bit ironic.
stuff.
Yeah, he's but what's with stuttering droids? He stuttered, Dio stuttered in The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know. They like stuttering droids these days. But
the language matrix.
Yeah, the question I had though, are they making droids too emotional these days? Do you think the B had too many emotions, or is it cool to see droids with emotions?
No.
I
think
think
I
they're the
love it.
heart of Star Wars. I think they should
They
have
are.
emotions.
Great voice here.
I agree, Josh. I love them. To me, they're just as important. I mean, I've loved so many droids and the new material that's come out since the sequel trilogy, and I've shed
Arguably, the
tears over
droids are the
them.
best part.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah,
it.
and George Lucas has always said that Star Wars was told from their point of view.
Yeah.
Obviously they're the some of the first main characters we see, and we see the story unfold through their eyes.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I found so interesting, getting back to the fact that the death of Marva was shown like almost after the fact, even to us as an audience, I think it was a masterful decision, because when we see Cassian find out that he finds out that Marva is dead, I think it gets us emotionally too, because we didn't see it, he didn't see it. We get to relate to him as a character, not
Right.
knowing, what actually happened to his mom.
That's one of my favorite scenes, actually, involving Andor. That's one of the few times that I felt like I actually cared about the character, and I thought it was very powerful, filmmaking, the way that they echoed his own death in him finding out the news of his mother's death there at the beach. So you
Absolutely.
see the ocean in the background and the sunset, and it just I think it was a very beautiful moment.
Sure. Yeah.
And Brasso relaying Marva's last words to Cassian. I
love that.
I mean, sometimes that secondhand kind of knowledge doesn't come off well, or those.
I
that
love you more
relay,
than
but
anything you can do wrong.
I was like, as a mom, that hit
Holy
me,
crap.
man. Woo!
Yeah.
I was like,
Very emotional.
And that's another testament to these side characters. I mean, whether it's their acting or the way they are written, there are some shots that just work for me on such a personal level. There are ways that these actors are communicating these lines that just gets you, man. Brasso is one. We didn't realize how important of a role he took on when we first met him in the first couple of episodes, and he has really grown into someone important. I mean, we jokingly talk about bricks, but he's the one that presents the brick, in this ceremony in this last episode. And there's a lot of deep stuff there with Marva being, being a brick basically, and really, she represents the first, what do you call it? The first
Building block.
building block of the rebellion, the first act. And I know there are other rebel cells across the galaxy doing their first, but we are here at this point, and I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of the first act of open, unification and rebellion against the Empire. I mean, she kind of vocalized what everyone was feeling up, big giant hologram for everyone to see. So it was definitely a powerful moment.
Josh, I love you, man. You were the worst hater ever. You love this shit.
Their funeral customs was very hard. It really got me. Their funeral custom, the way they honor their dead. The way Brasso stood in for Cassian, because Cassian couldn't be there, and he even said, "I'll handle your, Marva. You go on and do what you need to do," because she believed in you, basically, that you're gonna light the fire for this.
Yeah.
So
what a tradition they made up for that culture, though. That's
right.
That is, they've always talked about world building, and world building includes culture making. And customs making and stuff like that. And what a tradition they came up with for that. I'm sure it's
the whole daughters of Ferrix and all like that.
I'm sure it's rooted in our world, but I never heard of such a thing. I thought that was pretty badass.
You can't have flutes in Star Wars, Brad. I mean, you can't have flutes.
I just like how
them.
I like how B2 showed up R2 with the size of his hologram. He really whipped that thing out. It was big.
He did. That was a huge hologram.
Yeah, it was.
Huge.
Quick question from the chat. Megan wants to know what we think if Kino survived.
It's Andy Serkis. Yeah, they're going to keep him alive.
Yeah, I think he's alive.
Yeah, he's Snoke.
There you go. He went from there to
Snoke's origin story.
He can't swim. Look what happened.
He's still shriveled up from the lake there.
Yeah.
He's got bathtub fingers. That's what he's
everywhere.
During the towards the end of the funeral ceremony, things got a little crazy in the story, and the troops went out. I was particularly proud that they didn't stick with the stormtroopers can't shoot trope. I always hated that. They brought in the real world explanation in universe. But it did seem like some stormtroopers were hitting a lot of innocent people there, and I loved it.
Gunning them down.
Yeah.
And the sound, I want to give it up to the sound crew on this one. The sounds of these blasters were amazing as well.
Yeah, they were pretty powerful. I think the weight of the sound really told us, a story about their, I don't know, the Imperial, whatever the occupation there. But I obviously, as you can see behind me and on my hat, I mean, I love seeing the Empire wherever they're at. Deidre, however the hell you pronounce her name. Crazy Eyes.
You don't care. You just love her. You don't care.
Yeah. It's
I just want to see her and Cyril get it on. That's all. I'm just saying.
Are they going to trauma bond them now? Like, Cyril did not look traumatized because he's like, I've been here before. It's okay.
Sure.
She's traumatized.
And she's in, or he's in his element too. I mean,
he's like the savior. She's traumatized as hell.
He's a cut.
So I'm just wondering if she's like going to be bonded to him in a way because she's going to have some PTSD. You don't think so?
No.
I'm wondering.
Not once she meets his mother.
Well, she'll probably shoot his mother, which I wouldn't cry over that. Please.
Can you see her eating Cocoa Puffs? It's not going to happen.
No.
Well, he'd be whatever he needed to be for her. He'd gladly give up Cocoa Puffs if she thought it was beneath him.
Space Cocoa Puffs. I'm sorry.
I do feel that Cyril's story arc took a little longer than.
I didn't know what the point of him was the entire time, besides being a weirdo.
Yeah, I think I don't know, they should have
Creepy.
tied that up a little bit better.
He's a little bit of an incel vibe to me. He's giving the incel vibe. I'm sorry.
He's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the peeping Tom.
I think he's going to
Yeah.
end up becoming kind of the key to it all in the end. It's sort of this subtle little subplot that's going to pop up and turn out to be the the end all be all of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, originally I thought he was going to join the rebellion because he wasn't really too thrilled about like corporate police or obviously the Empire. I thought he was going to, kind of run on his own, but he definitely has a thing for the Empire, a thing for Deidre.
Yeah, he's a company
And-
man. He's a company
Oh,
man.
yeah.
He's a
Yeah,
bootlicker. He's a bootlicker.
He likes the order of it, I think.
And
Yeah.
Tim has a great question. Tim
Oh,
has a
yeah.
great question.
and I have the perfect answer, but you guys go ahead. Shanti, you go first.
I'm gonna say yes. I do. I don't like to compare the two because they hit different notes for me. But yeah, if we're gonna do it all encompassing, then I would say yeah, it is that this is the live action Star Wars show, and then a second, but
Sure.
it hasn't come out yet, so I don't know. I mean, could very
Well,
well
yeah.
out of the water, but again, it's appealing to two different sides of me
Sure.
though. Mando is the more family oriented one, and then this one is more for my adult, side of
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask everybody else, but I'm gonna side note what Tim is asking, and for me, quick answer: Andor is the best live action Star Wars we've gotten this far. But for me, it's going to be, and I've posted this on Twitter. It's going to be very difficult for me personally to go back to regular Star Wars and not get the serious treatment in writing and acting that Andor has given us. So I'm looking forward to any incarnation of future Star Wars. Looking forward to Ahsoka. Looking forward to Mando season 3. But it's going to be, I think I have to switch my brain a little bit when the show comes to, back on the air, because I know I'm not going to get the quality of writing that Andor has given us already. Brad, what about you?
Are we including the Star Wars holiday special in this question?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, I was going to say Boba Fett, but no. This is
what?
This is by far the best Star Wars live action that we've gotten. If Ahsoka, so kind of to some of the points Josh is making, if Ahsoka delivers, that could be because as far as character investment, I have way more invested into Ahsoka than I do Cassian Andor. So if that show delivers, that could be on top. But as of right now, definitely this is the best that we've had.
Yeah.
Tina, I'll go to you next.
I can't say because I feel like Andor is in a class of its own.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
It's just a class of its own. That's nothing to compare it to. Hey. So yeah, I love Mando though. I love Mando. I'm looking forward to Mando season 3. Looking forward to Ahsoka.
Yeah, we all hate Grogu.
Yeah, I mean, no, I love Grogu. I love Grogu. He's a little green little bastard. I love him so much. Anyway, little troublemaker. But I see why Mando appeals because it's got that Star Wars feel. You have the familiar characters, you have the Jedi, you have everything that we all love about Star Wars, and we do love all that. Star Wars is just different, and I think it's okay. They can both be equally good, just for different reasons.
Sure.
Right. Exactly.
The fact that he's called Cereal is amazing. I love that.
They freaking absolutely on the nose that one. You cannot
Hold their own character.
I'm like, y'all meant this dude to be a freaking joke, and I love it.
Oh, he is so
Josh, what is your favorite
Oh.
Star Wars besides Resistance?
Well, nothing tops Resistance. I mean, come on. Like, really? I will say this. Andor definitely gave us the best character in Star Wars. This guy. Yeah. All right, so enough about that.
No.
I think that Andor is by far the most well produced live action Star Wars. Everything about it is very masterfully done. However, I think that Mando has achieved. Andor is very much a niche corner of the Star Wars universe and the storytelling that it has available to you. Whereas I feel like Mando is a much better balance of the entire world of Star Wars. I think Mando is superior storytelling as far as a Star Wars series of any kind. So that's my answer.
Yeah. Okay. We can appreciate that. You're still banned.
Well, after the sequel trilogy, Mando got me interested in Star Wars again. I mean, I did enjoy
Mando's the
Solo.
future of Star Wars.
Yeah, but Mando was the one that's like, hey, we don't really suck all the time.
Right.
Watch, I'm like, yeah, you don't suck all the time. And make Book of Boba Fett. And then I'm like, okay, but alrighty then. But yeah, so
Star Wars was in a bad place until Grogu came along. I mean, it was.
Yeah, I would have to agree. What was that, Shanti?
Grogu was the hook. I mean, when I first
Yeah,
he's a merchandiser.
I went back and watched a few episodes underway, and I did forget how good that show was. I didn't rewatch the whole thing. I picked my favorite episodes from it. So I think it was about, for me, 50. I know we're going off topic here. We're talking about Mando, but I think it was about 50-50 with good episodes, which is actually pretty high for a show, really. But I think I watched about 8 episodes out of the whole thing, and damn, when they hit it on that show. So it was really good quality there too.
For me, Andor is a show that I've been waiting for a really long time. And I know, I continue to say that when it was first announced back in 2019, I knew it was going to be damn good. But, Josh, you said it earlier, Andor, the production quality, I mean, it really does look like a movie. It looks like you go to a theater and you watch it.
Absolutely.
The scale and scope is immense. It's pretty top notch for like a small screen television, especially now that we've seen how cheap shows like Book of Boba Fett were. And it's like, why couldn't they get, and I understand, okay, COVID-19 had something to do with production and timelines and stuff like that. I'm only, I really hope that Mando season 3 will up the ante when it comes to production, at least on the Mando side. And from what we've seen, the trailer, I think it will definitely be up there.
Well, I mean, look at how those 2 episodes, those 2 basically Mando episodes that were in Book of Boba Fett look. I mean, they were beautiful. That opening shot of the first episode where it was the continuous camera shot as it follows him through the city and up to deliver the head of the guy that he had just taken in the meat market.
That takes some damn planning. And the first time I watched it, I was like, my brain was like, oh my God, this is so good.
It was beautiful.
Right? Yeah. And that's why I say that was shoehorned in and that was not part of book. I'm going with that, saying that was not meant to be there. I don't think so.
I hope that we can get that same level of craftsmanship in all of the series going forward. And I mean, I would love to see that.
They can't backtrack, in my opinion, anymore, Josh. After this, they really can't backpedal on it. They're gonna have to. They gave it to us. They're gonna have to keep giving it to us. Not necessarily the same tone, but that same quality.
Is Ahsoka next or is Mando next?
I think Mando's next.
I think Mando's next. End of January, I think.
All right.
I think so.
Yeah, we can Google it. But absolutely. Let's go through some of the character arcs. I think we've got characters like Cinta, who was watching the Cassian homestead, and gave I don't know what the name of that Imperial officer is. Gave a little knife to the gut there. That was kind of cool.
She's the rebellion's Deidre.
Yes. Oh, and something that Sean said based on somebody else's post, we were talking about how it seems like Vel's heart is not really into the rebellion. I think she might be a problem going forward. She's more interested in the relationship that she wants to have with Cinta, and Cinta is like 100% just, all business. And I find that dynamic interesting. I like it. Vel is obviously, somebody, I think Cinta called her the little rich girl that decided to join the rebellion. And I think going forward, that dynamic is really going to be interesting.
Well, I think it's important. It's that she's related to Mon Mothma. I think that it really shows, kind of two sides of the same coin. And Mon Mothma is willing to sacrifice everything for it, and Vel is willing to push it aside for what she wants. But yet they came from the same place.
Can we? I'd love to broaden the discussion though. When we talk about badass female characters, and we're talking about all sides of the war.
Yes.
And we've already talked about Mon Mothma ad nauseum on this show because of how much of a badass she's always been for the rebellion. But when you talk about Cinta and on the other side of the house, Deidre, holy crap. So the Empire is a completely male-driven organization, especially in a sub-organization like the ISB. Where everybody in the room is an alpha male, and for her, and it wasn't written where it's like in your face, like Star Wars and Endgame, Avengers Endgame, where they put all the female characters there together, the Super Squad. These were just well written, badass female characters, and the show needs kudos for that too. Like Deidre's awesome, and it was. In a way, not heartbreaking, but it was also hard to see her get trampled there at the end of the show because she's an awesome character.
Well, that brings up an idea actually that I wanted to talk with you about, Ro. About does it matter if they're male or female? Is that really what's important? Or is it really just about the character? And these are, like Brad said, these are extremely well written characters, and I don't think it matters if they're male or female. I think we like them because they're well-written characters, not because of their gender.
For sure.
Well, they're not trying either. They're not trying it like the sequel trilogy. Like, here's a strong female character, shove her down your throat. That's kind of where I felt with some of that.
They weren't
done organically.
Down either, except for Cyril, who is specifically written to be pathetic. I mean,
beta male.
I really don't feel like any of the men are being torn down either on the show to make the female.
And I do like that Deidre's immediate commander, her supervisor, is actually very supportive of her. Like that dude is all the time pulling her to the side and saying, "Hey, just calm down. It's going to be okay. Like, remember, like you're doing better than most in your situation, and I'm here to support you. But there's a way to do it, And I feel like he's really been a very strong guiding hand for her, and it's kind of nice to see that she doesn't just have this jerk boss that's very cliche. I like that they kind of went a different route with it.
And I it's all justice for Perrin for you, but justice for Bix, because that girl's
been through it.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. You're gonna need some counseling.
Her Stockholm syndrome there.
She's gonna need help taking those pants off. Wait, what? Sorry.
What? What?
Megan's got a great question in the chat about Deidre, and I think if they continue to write her as an awesome Imperial, I hope they don't do the cliche crap of making her question, her allegiance. I think she's an Imperial through and through. Yeah. And if they keep writing it well, I think she's going to double down and become an even more awesome Imperial spy, ISB agent.
Cyril will be her
Deidre,
After all of this, Cyril is going her.
Yes, and she made the same mistake that everybody else did, underestimating people, right, Shanti?
Yep.
Right. Yes.
Where'd she go?
I'm here.
Underestimating the people on fair, like they Cassian said it. They don't expect people like us. They're so sure in themselves, and they have had their handed to them twice on Ferris.
Yep.
So
I think that and early on in the series, Partagaz called Deidre out and said, the ISB isn't used to people like you. And they didn't say a woman, but you can kind of tell, obviously,
Out of the
there were
box
hints
thinker.
there. Right. So it is going to be interesting to see what her consequence will be. Will she double down? Will she get will her ranking be less? Are they going to punish her because of it, or is she going to continue to step up and do what she thinks needs to be done, and in even more of a brutal way? I think that's going to be fantastic.
I don't think
Mhm.
just she's going to double down. I think the entire empire is going to double down
Oh,
because
Right.
even though her mission failed,
That's the way it
did
works.
succeed in proving that she was right.
Yeah.
That there
Mhm.
is a rebellious incel that's slowly building, and that they need to deal with it. And I think that the military element in the second season is going to be far more noticeable than it was in the first.
Just
What did y'all think? Oh, sorry, Brad. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna talk about just a couple more female characters real quick, and I definitely want to get back to you, Tina. One, I'm not sure if you guys have talked about on the show, but Ro, I know we emailed about this. I would have loved to have seen Enfys Nest on this show. I think
Oh man,
that was an actual missed opportunity because she would have been the right age to play that character because of when Solo was made and all that kind of good stuff. So it would have been real cool to see her on there. Maybe an interaction between her and Saul Guerrera, because they would have had some. It would have been an interesting relationship there. And I was actually watching the finale with Amy, and she brought up a good point about Mon Mothma's daughter. We were talking about that. I'm not. What was her name? I don't remember her name.
Lita.
Lita, yes.
Lita,
and if you look at the ages, she's almost the exact same age as Leia.
Sure.
So that does open that up. If she goes the route that her mother does, they could write future stories with her and Leia together, which could be pretty interesting as well.
Or I could
I
just
agree.
picture Mon Mothma going to visit Bail Organa and taking Lita with her, and
Yeah,
I
her
firmly believe that
interacting
had to
with Leia.
happen.
yeah.
Right? I firmly believe that did happen. I guess for me, did y'all catch that line about the Krieger incident when talking about, well, the Emperor needs this to go away or something, so we did this? And I'm like, so are you just catering to him a bit and kind of trying to keep him happy over here? Is he not as involved as we might think he is? Is he involved? I don't know. I thought that was really interesting. It's kind of a throwaway.
I think the vibe they were going for there was the episode 4 vibe and really episode 5 vibe, where the Emperor is not there, but he's always present at the same time. So it's more of those speak of the Emperor, but he's not actually there. I thought it was a nice touch personally.
I want to put up a comment from GeForce.
GeForce.
I don't think there needs to be any other cameos from the movies in the show. I love that it's mostly all new characters. I kind of agree with him. I love that they're not throwing you with cameos and Easter eggs and stuff like that. You're really concentrating on new characters, new developments in the story. But I do think it's kind of interesting that really this is like the first show that they really haven't like put anything like, oh, look, that's Hammerhead from the Creature Cantina. He's here too. Goofy stuff like that. I think they're really concentrating on the importance of getting these characters from point A to Z in the short time that we have. Because if we remember, this series was supposed to be a 5-series show. They clamped it down to 2 because reasons, whatever. But I'm gonna have to agree with that. As far as Enfys Nest, I think it would have been cool, but again, I think if we bring in like every rebel and their grandmother into this story, I think whatever it is that the rest of the rebellion, the rebel cells that are really at this point, they're not really in cahoots. They're all individual cells doing their own thing, trying to affect their own areas. That obviously we saw that storyline in Rebels. I think it makes more sense to have this story kind of pinpointed in an area where it's just happening to this group. We know that it's happening elsewhere with other characters, and I think they should just leave it there instead of just bringing everything now. We talk about how this really big galaxy starts to get smaller when you throw in all these characters, but we know that all that other stuff happens because we've seen Rebels, we've read the comics and the novels. So I would say leave that stuff over there and let's tell the story of these characters myself.
Yeah,
The
I
reason-
don't
the
think
reason
that
I
we
thought-
need any more movie cameo people. But I would love to see them introduce Thrawn in season 2
Me too.
and carry him over to Ahsoka from there. Introduce him in live action.
The reason I
Have him
thought it
brought
might
in to
work.
take care of things.
Yeah, I thought Enfys Nest might work in this one. Is there was a lot of talk of financing and moving money and that sort of thing, especially with Mon Mothma's and her big thing in Solo, and it would make that movie worth something at the same time because I feel like it really wasn't worth anything except for explaining the Kessel Run. And that was her big thing in that movie was securing financing for Rebellion. So I think you could have linked it through the money there.
Yeah. She would have fit in well in Ferrix, I feel like.
Yep.
And I love the town of Ferrix. So here I go. I love the buildings. I love the way everything looks. I like the aesthetic of Ferrix. I do. So I'm going with, I like bricks and screws, assholes. Okay. So
I heard that about you.
yeah, right.
All right, so we have people complaining about bricks and screws. All right, well then you know what? Everyone needs to go and trash Broom Boy because he was holding a broom.
It took me that scene in particular took me way out of The Last Jedi. I'm sorry.
I told Ro
that was all.
I told Ro I had 3 words for that discussion. That was ice cream maker.
Right.
I mean, there's an ice cream maker in Empire Strikes Back, but I'd like to quote my wife who said in response to this stupid ass discussion, and I quote, "There are 85 fucking million planets in Star Wars. Why wouldn't they have bricks?" Which I think is true.
Or screws.
Or screws.
God love your wife. I mean, seriously.
She's the smart one.
Complaining.
Oh, if you and the people that are saying this, like practically, like they love the prequel trilogy. Did you see when any of the stuff was built in the prequel trilogy?
Right.
We had arches and terraces.
Whatever.
And
I think this would be a good way to bridge it all together. Actually, what Dave's saying there.
Real fast, the Masasi Temple in the original Star Wars, the wide shot, there are bricks in there. All right, enough of bricks and screws.
That's really not even worth discussing.
I don't even think it's worth discussing. This is the dumbest.
But back to the practical. I love all the practical sets, right, Shanti? They're great.
What? Say that again, T.
I was just saying the practical is great. I don't think you can compare anything to them. I love all of them.
Me too. I can't even believe this is even happening.
I can't either, but it did. It did, unfortunately. It did.
Let's talk about Dave's comment here. Would Thrawn confuse the casual watcher, though, as it'll be different timelines if he shows up in Ahsoka after?
It won't confuse me.
No, I bet it won't. Well, it'll confuse you, but in a different way. I think it would be a good way to kind of bridge all of it together and kind of show that this character's been around for a while and that he's well established in the Empire. And if anybody is devoted enough to Palpatine to kind of help bring about, the First Order and everything else that comes after, then it would be someone that's been with him that whole time and that was a key player in trying to take down the rebellion, because he obviously is in Rebels, so it would make sense for him to pop up.
Yes, Blue Bridge. Yeah. Fill my gap. What?
Wow.
Whoa.
So let's get back to the episode. They escape the melee. Stormtroopers shooting everybody. Something that I saw someone post regarding Luthen. He escapes that blast, and you can see him at the top of one of the buildings or staircases, and just he's looking down at the the destruction and the death and stuff like that. He doesn't do anything, and it's interesting to see the fact that maybe he is. What did the post say?
He said he was a coward, and I love that because he said, I don't know how many episodes it was ago because I binged them. He told Saul Guerrero,
Right.
what are you? I'm a coward. So he's willing to coordinate and work behind the scenes and all this shit. But he, in essence, he's a coward. So I love that he didn't get involved because that backs up his statement that he made earlier in the series.
Yeah, and absolutely. No, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. But after that, you have the scene where obviously Cassian rescues Bix. She's a little off her rocker because of the torture, and props to the makeup people because she looks like she went through hell.
Oh, she looks awful. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah. They pulled that off convincingly.
And the Stockholm syndrome that they give her, like she didn't even want to leave. Like that's holy cow.
Yeah.
They'll be mad. They'll be angry.
That's crazy.
She said
Yeah.
something in the ship later on, towards the end of the episode, where it made her seem like she really lost it. She says, Cassian will find us. Cassian will find us.
Yes.
And he turns around and is like, yeah, I will. Why it's wow. It's really great.
She's damaged goods now.
They
Yeah.
broke her. They I don't know if she'll be the same Bix again. They broke her. Whatever they did to her, whatever she listened to, it broke her.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. She listened to the screaming, horrific sounds of a species being eliminated. Only the way the Empire can do it.
Children dying.
Yeah.
Is what it's-
Right.
That's rough.
I'm glad we didn't hear it. I'm glad we didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I'm
I was-
curious.
A lot of mystery.
I was reading somewhere that they initially they did the sound for it, but it was too much, and they decided to just do her scream so you can imagine what that sounds like instead of actually hearing it. So
I'm good. I didn't want to hear
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I'm glad. I think leaving some things to the imagination is a good storytelling choice.
yeah, show don't tell.
Yeah, we didn't need to see those screws or those bricks.
Or the concrete or the dirt. That damn dirt. So earthy.
Characters breathing air. What's up with that?
I know, God. How dare you get cold? There's
Just
air.
just like we do in our world.
Cloud. What?
What the
I mean,
hell
I
is
will
that?
say though, after 12 episodes, we basically just ended up back where we were at the end of episode 3. But it's okay. I mean, the show was all right. But it's all about the journey, right? But he did have his nice Han Solo arc. At the beginning it was all for money, and then at the end it was for the cause. So there you go, Diet Han Solo.
Canceled. We love
I'm just
each other.
saying, it's fine.
I love
It's
how
whatever.
hey, you stick to your convictions. I love it.
Again, it's all about the journey. I think it would have been more interesting to have seen more of those flashbacks of him with his obvious rebel family, making him into that rebel that he is, as opposed to it being for the money and him just being basically kind of like a con artist. And then in the end being this, person that's
Well, do you-
dedicated to it all.
Do you think his sister's really alive, or do you think Marvin was telling the truth?
I don't know.
And
I
she's
think
like,
he
"She's
forgot his
gone."
sister even existed at this point. Like, when was the last time she was even mentioned in the story?
Well, it was kind of like a thing like, hey, I looked for my oops, I killed 2 people. Oh, this is bad. And then, ooh, I got turned in. And then, oh, I went to prison. He's kind of had a rough time. You're like,
Yeah,
eh.
I'm glad we know that he was making, parts for the Death Star. So that's all that matters.
Hey.
But you know what, though? You're right. The sister was a main topic kind of in the background early on in the series. And all of a sudden, you just forgot about her. Obviously, Cassian's mother says, just forget about
Your
sister.
focus
She's
changes
gone.
when you go to prison.
Yeah,
So-
yeah,
Yeah, don't drop the soap.
yeah.
Well, unless that was just showing how
don't have
connected he
soap in
still
Star Wars.
was to his old life. Because let's face it, she took him from his home planet. He knew nothing of what was going on. You know, they had to teach him how to speak the language. They probably had to teach him how to fit into society. He had a criminal record from the time he was a young kid, apparently, as we saw throughout. So maybe that was just the way of showing he was still trying to connect old life. And now he has he's realized that where he is now is where he belongs. Like, he does belong.
Yeah,
Well, I think that's why I think that is part of why they did do that shot of him finding out about his mother there on the beach, because that was the moment in which his old life died and he became hardened to the new life, basically.
you must unlearn what you have learned.
Yes. And
It's
the
like
moment with his
poetry.
dad's
It
grit.
rhymes.
Oh,
I mean, like when he
Right.
tells Jyn Erso at the end of Rogue One, even though you don't like that movie, welcome home. You know, when he says welcome home to her, right? So
Yeah.
he lost his previous family, and that's his new family. So
Yeah.
it rhymes.
Rogue One's fantastic. I mean, I think that's one of the best Star Wars films ever. And this definitely is in the same vein of it. But I still do feel like Rogue One had a little bit more of that balance that I was talking about earlier that speaks to the entire universe of Star Wars versus just one particular
still had that
aspect.
Star Wars feel. Like, I had saw Leia, and it was related to the Death Star. Like, it fit in the sense of that stuff, right? I like Rogue One.
Yeah, I mean that was part of it,
The
but it wasn't just about
spiritualism with like Baze and
cameos.
Chirrut, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that the Guardians of the Wills was probably one of my favorite parts of that whole story, and I want to see more about them. That's what I want to see a show about.
I agree. I hope we see that. Do you think with the Acolyte coming that we may dive more into some of that stuff? Maybe.
I'm sure. Yeah. Real fast before we end, we're over an hour. I wanted to ask you guys, let's dive into Cassian's last line there. I actually thought that Cassian was going to kill Luthen right then and there. But he had other plans. He put the gun obviously in Luthen's reach, and he basically gave him an ultimatum: kill me or take me on. And I think, you know, now he's realizing that the sacrifices that people around him have made for a greater cause, he wants to be able to do something like that as well. He's got nobody left. He lost his sister, he lost his mother. You know, very similar to Saw Gerrera. Saw Gerrera originally lost his sister, and that's one of the things that motivated him to become the character that he became. And his hatred towards the Empire. But, you know, hatred is a powerful motivator, you know, for any character. So what'd you guys think of that line?
Well, I feel like this show as a whole is about him losing hope. It's about him, you know, becoming hardened and, you know, just angry at the Empire and bitter and not feeling like there is anything but the cause at this point, and not even caring about his own life. Whereas Rogue One shows him finding that hope again through Jyn and them finding it together, basically, which is kind of why they die in each other's arms.
And dying.
Yeah, but it was worth it though. They were able to find the balance between the two. You can you can live for the cause and you can still live, because I mean, why fight the cause if life means nothing?
Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Agree.
Anybody else? That last line, kill me or take me on.
I love that he stayed behind. Yeah, I did too. And I love that he stayed behind and didn't go with his friends, even though they wanted him to go. And could he surely have met back up with the rebellion at some point? Of course he could have. But he stayed because I think at that point too, he wanted to honor the sacrifice of his mom too.
Right.
And I don't think Luthen really wanted to kill Cassian. I mean, I think he wanted to because he thought he might have been a loose end.
Sure.
You know, and letting secrets out, but he really deep down wanted Cassian to
you know,
one
of the questions that I have is why did Luthen why was Luthen's interest in Castian, in the first place? What was that all about? And I know he watched. Did he know his father? Were they family friends, et cetera, et cetera? Because he knew a lot when he first met Cassian in that warehouse garage thing. I'm just wondering, like, why did he take so much interest in Cassian? And I guess we'll find out. I guess now
it's a lot of interest to want to kill him immediately after the mission.
Right.
Yeah, I think we'll find more out about that in season 2. Now, we know we're getting to season 2. How would y'all have felt if it had just ended right where it did?
I'd be okay with it because we know what happens.
Because it was a great hell of a first season. I'm glad we're getting a second season.
Sure.
But if they had decided not to, I felt like it ended great and the showing the Death Star, and then we would segue into Rogue One. We know now, hey, this is this is the line he started. This is where he started.
Right.
And then we know where he finishes.
I would have been more disappointed because I didn't feel like this was the end as much as it was the end of the beginning. Like I definitely feel like this has all just really been sort of the preface to what's going to actually happen in this story.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm glad it's going past the first season. I
am glad. And I don't even know if we need 5, so I'm kind of glad they backed up off that because I think that might have been overkill. I think 2 is going to be, considering how well they've done the 12 and we're going to get 12 more episodes, I think they can wrap this up pretty well.
And that's why I mind waiting the 2 years because
I don't either.
It just tells me that they're going to take their time, especially if it's 12 episodes. That's a lot to film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's typical. That's actually a typical time period.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to rush it. Don't rush it.
Yeah.
And we have other stuff coming up to fill our time. If not, it's not like there's going to be, this long gap, which is another reason why I like the longer seasons, because then it's not done in 6 episodes, especially if it's dropping 2 or 3 at the very beginning and you've already dropped half your season. I hate that feeling of it came and it went, and it's like, well, no, take your time. It's fine. I'll wait.
How about rewatchability? Does the show have rewatchability?
This is.
I have already. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the only one that to me has been rewatchable.
Right.
I have not been able.
Over.
As much as I know, it's not one that I've been like, I got to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, that's weird. As much as I like The Mandalorian, it's not a show that I've gone back to watch a second time.
At all.
I watched it the first time. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's awesome. But and I don't know why that is. But Andor really.
Yeah.
I've watched it. I've watched at least 2 and some episodes 3 times just to kind of get, and I think that has to do with the rich tapestry of the writing.
Yeah.
Tina said it earlier. There's nothing that's wasted. Sometimes you got to watch it with the captions because if you don't, you might miss something.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of detail in the writing that is just so jam packed, which I find great. Everybody, obviously we've been going for quite a while. We want to do some giveaways for folks that are in the chat. But don't forget after ScarifLive to go join Dork Wars, Blake and company over there. They've got some people that are talking about Harry Potter Year 7. Check that out, please. Part of the Red 5 Network. All right. So I have a couple of things that I've been wanting to give away for a while. I'm gonna give you an overall idea of what they are. I've got a Todd McFarlane Batman action figure. I've got a brand new just a Star Wars hat that I'm gonna give out. I've got a couple of books that nobody has claimed from earlier episodes, so I'm gonna give those out tonight. I'm going to do 3 swag packs. I'll include some stickers in there and some wonderful items from Red 5 Network and our podcast. And I've got 3 questions. Brad and I have 3 questions. The first one, but this is what you have to do. Please make note. Tag us and tag another one of our Red 5 member pods or shows with the answer to your question. to our question. The first question is, hold on a second. What's the first question is, what is the first time that John Williams introduced the electric guitar to the franchise, and what movie was it from? So that's the first question. Don't put your answer in the chat. Just tag another Red 5 Network show and us, and then put your answer in there. Brad, did you have another question? I got one more.
Yep, I got. All right, so this may sound hard, but it's probably pretty easy for you guys. This is a Clone Wars and Andor question. Also, the captain of the ship that Anakin and Obi-Wan were frequently on in the Clone Wars, who was in charge of the ISB at the time of Andor? Yes, it's the same guy.
Excellent.
Great question.
You can skip the first half of that question because the real question is who's in charge of the ISB at the time of Andor.
And third question should be an easy one. Who was the music composer for Andor? Again, make sure that you tag us and another Red 5 Network podcast or show. We've got both audio and YouTube people creating wonderful content. And put your answers in a tweet, and we'll send out some stuff. Again, I've got hats, books, stickers, Batman action figures, and some other wonderful things. We've got 3 swag packs to give away, and we will put them in the mail. Perfect. And yes, don't forget to smash the like, tell a friend about the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. Brad, I am so happy that you are home. I got the email that said that you were going to be watching the Andor finale tonight to be on the show. And I'm like,
just so you guys know, this sentence was like this long that I sent him. There was like 10 words in it, and he read 5 of them. I said, I need to watch the finale before our show tonight, or before I'm on the show tonight. And he read, I need to watch the finale. So he missed the second half of a 10-word sentence.
Sure did. And then Amy had to text me, can you read his email again? I'm like, what? Did he send another one? What's going on? But absolutely glad that you are home. And I want to thank everybody in the chat, our patrons, our wonderful patrons that help support the channel. If you like what you hear, tell a friend, and then make sure that you review us on your favorite podcast app. We love those 5-star reviews, and we love hearing what you think about our show. We also have a hotline, Scarif hotline, 773-234-8659. Brad's going to say something smart now.
You could leave Rose sultry voice messages.
Yeah.
Yeah. If your name is Deidre, please do so.
Yeah, Deidre, please call.
Look,
Or
she
Garza.
looks like, this is probably a Scarif After Dark comment, but she looks like she's into that Dom shit, and I'm here for it.
She does.
All right.
She does. Absolutely.
And Serial's here for it the entire time.
Yes.
Bring out the gimp.
Oh, he's definitely the submissive. I can see him in the full leather.
You'll be wearing the ball gag for sure.
I'm a bad spy. I'm a bad spy.
Oh my God. Hashtag derailed.
Yay!
Excellent. Thank you, everybody in the chat. I want
Put more
to
in my cereal.
quickly go around. Shanti, where can folks find you?
What? Oh, you can find me on Twitter while it's still around at Selena Kyle 29 or at Scarif After Dark. Same on Instagram, but on Instagram it's Selena 2929 or at Scarif After Dark. What, Jack? We're not going out right now.
And Josh, hashtag justice for Perrin. Where can folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sith Care Bear, or poking around pretending to be Scarif After Dark. So that's about it.
Oh my God. And Tina, I know every so often we have to find you to make sure that that bail is set because you're a big
I
you're a
know.
troublemaker.
I know
Where-
I am.
Where can
Bridget.
folks find you?
I am on Twitter at the meme queen 27. And on whatever pod, usually somebody invites me on because they want to hear me run my mouth about whatever. So
Well, you're welcome to run your mouth at the Scarif Live show any day, any night.
I will remember.
All right, Brad, you it's wonderful to have you back.
Thank you, brother. It is great to be back. And
Glad
I
to see
did
you back.
miss you guys as well. It was a long 2 months. So I'm happy to be back talking about Star Wars and all the kinds of good geek shit with you guys. This is home. So glad to be here.
Did you forget how to sign off?
Oh, is that it? You normally have like 5 different things you need to say at the end. All right. Well, let's see. I'm a little bit rusty at this. So Josh has no idea what he's talking about. And that's the Scuttlebutt.
Woohoo!